Hi. Hello.
If you hold that button for about a second. Oh, there you go.
Hi, I'm Karna.
Cheers.
Cheers. So we've been playing with these ideas for a while, and
Who's we?
me and my friend Kelly.
Hey, friend. Cheers.
So there's a lot of discussion around core desired feelings and the feeling state, and you're talking about aligning first with your thought and then how that generates the feeling.
Yes.
And other teachings are like, could you start with a feeling? Why would you in the like you're being very specific, and I love your masculine, one-pointed directedness. For me, it's just like it just feels like hierarchy. And how can you talk a little bit about your version of order, of how things are generated?
I'm not sure this is what you mean, but let me know. So I made a schematic once. I don't think does anyone have it here by any chance? The point of view, belief, thoughts? No? Okay, cool. So this may not be what you mean, but imagine, oops, there is a whiteboard if I want to. That's true, yeah, very quickly. Thanks, man. Cool. This is not it. Nice. Thanks. This is a circle, and it says I am. So that is your base state of consciousness. Everyone can sense that they exist right now? Right? Yes. It's pretty undeniable. You hear my voice, you hear my question, you're able to confirm, you're able to think about it in whatever way you want to think about it. So you exist, right? Everything pre-requires that you exist. Every time you complain about existence, it's a confirmation of your existence. Every time you rejoice in existence, it's a confirmation of your existence, correct? Every time you experience whatever is a confirmation of existence. So if you want to be enlightened, to put it real simply start utilizing every experience. And you can do this for 7 days straight and you'll be enlightened. So for 7 days straight, at least 12 times a day, ideally 25 times a day, you recognize very clearly, you pause your mind for 2 to 5 seconds, just empty sky-like presence for just a moment. And you notice that you exist. And now you continue throughout the day to notice that no matter what you experience, whether you feel bad, whether you feel good, whether you think something or not think something, whether someone says something nice or something not nice, or nothing at all, or everyone ignores you, doesn't matter. Every moment, every experience is a confirmation of awareness, is it not? And with that, a confirmation that you exist. If you didn't exist, you could not experience. Correct? Okay, so you're enlightened? Then let's move on. Can everyone see this a little bit? So this little dot is the I am, and it has a point of view. Does that make sense? I am always has a point of view on life. If the point of view is in alignment with some of the vibrational truths of creation, I am starts to feel really good. If the point of view is out of alignment with some of the universal truths, it starts to feel really bad. That's the guidance mechanism of the emotional body. Again, that is all that the emotional body is here to do. Again, psychotherapy becomes completely redundant Not saying it's not helpful for some people at certain times. I'm saying it would be completely redundant had we understood this program, this mechanism. So, when consciousness, which is you, I am consciousness, when the I am consciousness chooses a certain point of view on existence, this can be an idea, it can be a perspective, it can be an angle on life, it can be something as, let's say in human terms that would translate itself as, for example, wow, this is a really amazing job opportunity. It's a perspective, it's a point of view. So your point of view is, wow, this is a really amazing opportunity. So you're in the vibratory state of amazing opportunity. Feels good, right? Has nothing to do with the job. You feel good not because there is a job, jobs don't exist. You feel good because you're in a vibratory state of consciousness that is in alignment with the truth of reality, which is everything is an abundant, amazing opportunity. So therefore you feel good. That was just to clarify the emotional body once again. But what happens if the same point of view is reiterated? If it becomes believed in, it turns into believed. So Beliefs are actually the same thing as the point of view, but the point of view is on a more non-physical level than beliefs. In other words, when a point of view is believed in, when it becomes conviction, when you be it, when you become that point of view, like when you see something and then you start to feel it and then you start to become it and then you become convinced of it. That's when consciousness locks in its point of view, and when it locks it in, it takes, in energetic terms, it takes on a slightly more structured existence. So it becomes slightly more quasi-physical. It's still not physical because we can't see beliefs, we can touch it and eat it. In a way we can. But beliefs are the slightly more physicalized or crystallized version of a point of view, of a vibration. Does that make sense? Ultimately, this is where your level of control is at, and ideally that's where we bring it to. We become masters of our point of view. We become masters of how we choose to see life. So that's what I mean when I say choose your state of being, choose your thought, choose your perspective, choose how you wish to feel and experience life, etc. Now, when beliefs are crystallized, it starts to generate nasty little buggers, which are also known as emotions. Nothing wrong with emotions, obviously. Emotionality is beautiful, but emotions are actually, in a sense, unnecessary, as we have elaborated upon them. I'm not saying emotionality is redundant. Emotionality is absolutely crucial to who we are. It's our guidance system. But emotions, as we have created them to be, and it's perfectly fine that we have, I'm just saying that in an alternate reality where we would have understood this more, emotions would not quite look the way they look today. It would be more a pure state of constant bliss, excitement, and using emotionality as a very clear and immediate guidance system. There would not be envy and jealousy and anger and all these things. That's why I say psychotherapy would be, in this reality, redundant. If you feel like going to psychotherapy, please honor that feeling. Disclaimer. You should see the emails I get sometimes. So beliefs are crystallized points of view of existence, right? When certain circumstances, let's say circumstances, when circumstances happen, they trigger us. So it's like, here's that little guy I drew. You can? Yes, sweetie. Can you switch sides every now and then? Yes, I can do that. Thank you. Okay, my drawings are going to look much better now. When circumstances happen and they start reflecting our paradigm, our belief system, often we think that thoughts trigger emotions, right? But they actually don't, in my experience. Beliefs trigger emotions. Thoughts can trigger beliefs, which then trigger emotions. But you cannot have an emotion about something, and I'm not talking about emotionality, I'm talking about emotions, like defined, oh, this is how I feel right now. You cannot have these if you don't have any beliefs about a certain thing. For example, who feels really emotional right now about that doorknob? Anyone? How about now? Anyone? Do you feel anything? You don't feel anything about something that you don't have any beliefs about. Does that make sense? So that's why reality is so subjective, and when we think that we're experiencing a circumstance, we actually don't ever experience a circumstance. You cannot experience a tree. I'm so sorry to break the news. In a sense you can, but when it comes to emotionally experiencing a tree, all that you experience is what you believe about the tree, how you choose to see the tree. So really all that you ever experience is I am consciousness having a certain vibratory point of view experience of life. What is life? Life is nothing but empty smoke and mirrors reflecting this. So even when you think you're touching a tree, all you really experience from consciousness point of view is still your point of view about that self-generated image. Does that make sense? And you can start to really see this because you don't feel anything about so much that's happening right now simultaneously. All of creation is happening right now. Do you feel anything about it? No. You only feel something about what I'm telling you, what you're aware of, and what your beliefs about that are. If you don't like what I'm saying, you're going to feel bad, and you're going to say, oh, bad teacher. If you really like what I'm saying, you're going to say, oh, Lord, nice. So beliefs are crystallized versions of points of view, and circumstances reflect or trigger certain thoughts and beliefs that then trigger your emotions. So your emotions let you know whether your belief is in or out of alignment with your true higher self's consciousness purpose. And I can't really explain that very well in physical terms, how that works, how the I am includes like a theme and a blueprint and a focus and its own type of awareness. So for now, just call it generally the I am overall greater self-awareness. When your point of view, your personalized chosen point of view and belief, therefore, is not in alignment with who you actually are on this deeper, higher self level, you will be made to feel really bad. And when these do suddenly line up with your true self, you start to feel really good. Does that make sense? What was your question?
Is there a hierarchy of one starting before another?
Right, that's what, okay. So in a sense, yes, I am, then this, then this, then this, then this. Circumstance. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Does that answer your question?
I could go on and on, but let's say
Me
yes
too.
for
You
now.
can go on.
So
Keep the microphone up.
I will keep it right here. Right. Okay. Here we go. I've seen them do this. It makes it look very foolish, but it works. So I hear what you're saying, and I'm curious about, as I've been practicing, I have a somatic therapist who I love, and and as I've been experiencing the beyond state of things and items and beings and people beyond my belief systems about them,
Nice.
would that relate to the merging that you were talking about earlier, or versus
Yes.
like the okay?
In a sense, because you're quite literally losing your point of view for another point of view, and that other point of view comes with different sensations and different realities and different. And in a sense, if the vibratory state of your newly chosen point of view, its literal vibration is much higher than your previous chosen point of view, then you have a greater sense of merger with things or environment, or you have less of a separate sense, you have less of a lacking sense, and more of an abundant merger, all of this is my own body kind of sense. So you can actually, in that sense, you can start to feel the tree. Even though it's an emptiness projection of energy, you can start to feel the tree vibration, in a sense, outside of just your point of view of it, even though that is still your point of view. It's just a point of view on a much higher vibrational level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, is there? I'm interested in the oneness consciousness as the ultimate. You know, if because we're making an assumption that we're all striving for the merging in which you lose the self and which becoming one, as I understand it from your point of view. Like
it's one goal. I don't judge any purpose or any desire, because any desire is the most authentic guidance point from the one to the being. So if we wish to truly honor the one, we have to honor our desire. And that's again where the mind can take over, take on a teaching, oh, it's all about oneness, it's all about losing the lower self. But then when the mind takes that on and it forgets to honor its intuition, its desire, then it can get lost in its own thought process, it can get lost in its own ego effect. So we need to honor what truly genuinely feels amazing, feels connected, feels most expanded. So if for you that is something other than losing your lower self in the all that is, then you should honor that. So I have no judgment of what anyone desires. So I won't say there is an ultimate goal. I just say that every goal is equally valid from the one's point of view. And how it communicates that to each of its beings is unique. You have to understand that the one, which is even beyond I am, by the way, the one is, let me just finish that. Can everyone see this? Underneath the I am is the all that is, and there's infinite levels between the all that is and the I am. So, but I don't have space to draw that. And then beyond the all that is where creation starts. Everything above this line, is creation, is awareness having an experience of itself. Everything below that line is indescribable, beyond experiencing. It is the infinite source from which all that is comes. So this is, you could draw a black hole here. Or you could say this is the Big Bang that starts right here. Boom. And what was I saying? I was saying something. What was that? Yes, but before that I was saying something.
Infinite levels of the all that is.
Before I started drawing, I was saying something. To address. Yes, thank you. So you have to understand that the one does not care about it realizing itself, because it's beyond experiencing. It is the one. It's infinite. It doesn't care the way we care. And again, that's where a sense of spirituality can become like, oh, I need to realize the one. That's the highest. That's the ultimate. The one doesn't give a shit whatsoever. Doesn't care whatsoever if you realize the one or not. In a sense, it's inaccurate. There's so many paradoxes. It's hard to talk about. From one point of view, it doesn't care at all. From another, it completely cares. But let's just take on the point of view that it doesn't care for just a second, just to clarify certain ideas. When we, in this section of ourselves, get all wrapped up in, oh, I need to realize the one, I need to lose all this, we're forgetting that the one generated this for a reason. Not so much to be itself, because this is already itself on its own level. It generated this to express itself. It generates this to fill up a hole that wasn't there yet, which is infinity in form, or in expression, or in experience of itself. It can't experience itself without awareness generating experiences. So it needs awareness, all that is consciousness, and then it needs many agents of the ultimate free agent. All that is, or awareness, is the ultimate free agent. The I am is the individuated free agent, which there are infinite of. One of them is you. Congratulations. And you then choose your frequency that then manifests itself as beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and environment, or physicality, or what seems to be physicality to us, or environment. It can also be non-physical environment, such as in your dream state, still generated by a play of all this. So what is most important, in a sense, to the one, is to express as much as you can. And through expressing as much as you can, you will be completely in alignment with who you truly are, so that when this is all in alignment, in a sense, and this all matches up, then what happens is this. And you, as the free agent, can move up and down and up and down and go to whatever level you want to. recognize all of them simultaneously, and you have the freedom to play. So by being really in alignment with who you are on an expressionate level, or the yang, you automatically realize the yin, or you automatically also start activating the, in a sense, energy pathway that goes back to source. So the further, the more confident you move from source in confidence of source, the more you will also realize more of source. Does that make sense? So if you get too wrapped up in the idea from this level of your insistent personality consciousness, from your limited view, you bypass what feels good and what does not feel good because you think you're smarter than the universe. And you start thinking that, oh, non-duality is what you need to realize. The true one is what you need to realize. For some people, that's a genuine desire at certain moments of their life. I know it is for me. I know it was for me. Still is. So yes, absolutely, when this feels resonant, sink all the way back into infinity. Lose yourself as much as you can. Absolutely beautiful. But don't get insistent upon making this some kind of achievement. Because when you do, and you bypass what actually feels in resonance, then you're not honoring, you're blocking this whole... You're creating this bottleneck experience, and you're not actually realizing more of it than you could otherwise. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So, to wrap up...
I like you. What else?
So would you say that the black hole symbolism here is the Big Bang also could be said to be the forgetting in which the one forgets itself out of its...
The thing is, it doesn't even know itself. So it can't forget itself.
Okay.
It can only know itself through you. It can know itself through what it's doing right now. That's why it's doing what it's doing. Because somehow, out of its infinite intelligent potential, like one cannot know itself.
But why do you say you have to remember then?
Well, it's not even so much remember, it's almost like you're doing it for the first time, although you don't, because on this level you've already many times realized that there's the one and what you are, etc. But on this level, you need to remember what you already realized on this level and then make it active so that you can express more fully. But this, the one does not know itself, by itself. It only knows itself in reflection of awareness. By the very fact that there is presence, that there is awareness, it can start to realize, oh, what's even beyond that? Awareness can, in a sense, either be reflective of experiences or reflective of infinity. When it turns around, in a sense, when awareness turns around and asks itself, what was there before I was aware? You can practice concentration, meditation, samadhi on that too. Just keep the idea of what is before consciousness or beyond consciousness in your consciousness. And see if you can start to sense a glimpse of endlessness, infinity, foreverness, nothing ever happened, no experience. And then you you start to get in touch with infinity, or the one. Does that make sense?
Are you sure you want to answer that? Ask me that?
Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Any other question?
Yes, I do, but I will now. I appreciate you bringing it into this whole. It was just very, very. Just really, I can't. Now I'm Swedish, and now for whatever reason I'm getting all my Swedish words here in my head.
Cool.
Must be some
European.
Yeah, right. So just thank you. I appreciate you going all the way there.
My pleasure. Thank you.